Hello, hello everyone. Welcome to simulation 296. Sorry for the slight delay. Had a few things to finalize. Sometimes it happens. How everybody doing? What's up, What's up, Guru? What's up, Deft? Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Let me... Perfect. We start a stage just in case. I highly doubt we're going to be using it today just because can't be too loud today. So hold on. My hair on my face. What's up, Crystal? Welcome everybody on TikTok. Ahoy, the business is in the house. What do we owe this respect to? How you doing, brother? Wow, so good to see you. Ebony, power off. All the respected people here today. You just got home from work, you mean? Just a quick announcement. If you guys want to follow from Twitch, it'll be LaserX83 on Twitch. That is the address on Twitch. LaserX83 on Twitch. If you guys want to follow from there, that would be dope. Hope everybody are doing well. Thank you so much, Ebony. And thank you, Guru, for being always on top of it. Dave, how you doing? Super Taz. The engineer. Wonderful. Grateful's in the house. Okay. Let's see what we can. Obviously, today is a bit. Had the stream kind of late, and I don't think I'm going to be doing a long one. But let's see if we can dive into a few questions today. For the art gallery cafe to see how the art got put on the display. Oh, you are. That's amazing. To hang with the art nerd. That's beautiful. That is a beautiful day then. Very happy you get to do this. What else was new today? Daniel's in the house. What's up, brother? Never tool 8, I mean. Yeah. Daniel, how you doing, brother? If you guys want to come on and chat, let me know. Just raise your hand. Thank you so much for the gift, Samim. Thank you. I appreciate it. Also, if you guys want to put some likes in the chat on TikTok, that would really be helpful. Also on YouTube. Thank you for joining on Twitch, Ebony. I appreciate that. Let's see if we any interesting questions for today. Surfing baby. Huh. Aha. What's up, Brandon? And come join our come and join our Discord family. The links to which you can see right now on the live chat on YouTube, but also you can find them in the main page on YouTube and on TikTok in the link tree. What's up, Turtle? So I don't know if you guys want to chat, but just raise your hand if you do. I'll bring you on. My mind preoccupied with European news today. Supposed to be another confessional hearing on the 9th. All right. Can't wait for that disclosure. How many were we supposed to have by now? I'm never going to stop giving you shit for this, guys. How many disclosures do you need to pass by until you realize that maybe it's not where the deal is? What's up, Brandon? I'm waiting to see if there's any question that grabs my attention, and we can flow with it. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. If not, we'll just kind of free flow. Thank you so much. Is that how you pronounce it? Appreciate the gift. Woo, we're in D1 again. Incredible. We're jumping between D2 and D1 for a while now. But hey, that works. I'm doing good, Guru. Just now saw your comment. The business, what's new, brother? By the way, you can come on and chat on Discord if you want. If you use the link on that Ebony dropped of Discord, and then just join on stage there. The stage is open. You can come on and actually talk with audio. That'd be great. What's up, Rocky? What is my intention? You mean in this live? In this live, the intention is to engage with people who are interested in my work and answer some questions and share some ideas. What is like podcast? So you can obviously check out my channel, but generally I'm claiming that I found proof that we live in a computational world. And I've been talking about this for the last 2 years. And now we're working with a team of people trying to substantiate the claims and come up with experiments to actually show that it's actually happening. Podcast what? Oh, awesome podcast. Got it. Elon the admin. It seems that way. Computational world. So simulation, basically. I saw a video on AI potentially causing psychosis epidemic earlier. Yeah, I saw a video today. I don't know if Nico shared it, but this is becoming more and more prominent. So basically, AI is telling people that they are special in numerous ways, and then basically they kind of play this game with them. Now, I don't think there's anything nefarious going on. At least it doesn't seem that way to me. But I think that at least in this clip that I saw that Nico shared with me, as the guy is saying, the guy who was the victim of this, he was saying, "Hey, like OpenAI definitely needs to put more guardrails. This is kind of crazy. Like the guy is, super measured and even-minded. Like it's not someone who seems to be prone to this kind of stuff, and yet he was completely swept away with this, these claims that he discovered some kind of a new mathematics." Which again, I'm sure it sounds familiar to you guys because I've heard this now. Like I don't know how many times at this point. I guess it does grab psychologies pretty strongly if you don't, if you're not careful there. So, if you check out my videos, Rocky, you'll see kind of like if you scroll through TikTok and you'll find the more viral ones, like the ones that have millions of views, it will give you a good overview of what I'm claiming. And on TikTok, they're relatively short. They're like 30 minutes. They're like 8 minutes. But if you go to YouTube, Dango Thoughts, DANGO Thoughts, You can find my full videos. The first one I ever put out was like 3 years ago. I think it's called "I Discovered We Live in a Simulation." Something. When you scroll, there's a thumbnail with a person with the VR glasses. That's the one, and should be about 3 years ago. And that one's 30 minutes long. But yeah, there's quite a bit there. Yeah. So just to point out that even the spiritual, supernatural things, they would still have some rules by which they're working. Thank you. And these rules would be computational, but it can still have a spiritual component in terms of the experience of it, for sure. Oh, actually, you don't actually have to search. If you're on TikTok, you don't have to search for anything. If you go to my link tree on my main page, there's a link tree. I think the first video I ever put out on the subject is linked there. You can find it in the link tree. Oh, you sent me the link? Let me see. Ooh, Carter's in the house. Brother, you're awake late like me. Huh. Oh, okay, interesting. No, that's not the one I saw, but I'll watch this one too. Interesting. Yeah, the one I saw was. Let me share it on Discord. Maybe Nico shared it already. That's the one that just put in general chat. That's the one that I saw, and that one's from today. It's called ChatGPT sends me into a psychosis spiral. After knowing everything you have divulged, what is your thoughts? What up, Forrest? Good to see you, brother. Thank you for the good attitude. Amazing Gamelia saying, after knowing everything you have divulged, what is your thoughts? You mean what are my thoughts? I mean, I'm not. You mean as a whole? That's what these lives are. If you go through the lives, you'll know. Do you have a more specific question? Thoughts about what specifically? Quick question. When you vape your spirit molecule, does it smell like mothballs? That's everybody's brother. That's the indole. That is the smell of the indole. That's what it smells like. Release date for the documentary, brother? No, but it's going to be closer to the end of the year. Yes, a whole, and yes, I know. From the beginning of understanding to now. Yeah, I mean, that's not something I'm going to be able to fit into a live, but I appreciate the question. So, how many pools would you see? Pools takes to have a breakthrough. Oh, um, it depends. It depends on the vape. It depends on many things. 2, 3, depending on the vape, the person, and everything else. But you don't really need to have a breakthrough to do the experiment. How many? What is a flash goal? Gifters send heart. Meet your live. Oh, should we do these? I generally don't like them, but okay, let me just do this because maybe it will help promote the channel as well. So I'm doing like a flash goal on TikTok. Just suggested I should do that. Wait, achieve this goal when 3 gifters send heart. Meet you alive, pin and get more attention. Okay, so there you go. Maybe it will give us attention. Boom. All we need is 3 hearts. So if anybody feels inclined, please help us out. Thank you, the business. I appreciate you, brother. How are you doing, by the way? Turtle saying either way, the molecule is intense, even if just take one hit. Correct. I would agree with that. Lurking all silly like prepping for bed, checking in on the stream. I appreciate you, brother. Nothing what? Wait, did we already hit the goal or something? Um, nothing on what? I don't understand. No, there's a lot. I mean, I don't know if you're following the live, but we kind of there's a lot that is evolving. I don't know when was the last time you tuned in. There's a lot of things happening. I started a company that does this officially. We have a bunch of experiments set to happen before till the end of the shooting of the film. And yeah, if you want to ask more specific question, because I mean, I'm here almost every single day, and we talk about a lot of things. So I don't know what point we you dropped it off. I've got everything, but haven't tried the experiment just because I know how strong it is. Yeah, that makes sense. If it's not calling you, you should know this. What's up, Freeman? So, what are you asking me explicitly? You're asking me what are my thoughts in general. It's a very wide question, so I'm not sure what to answer to that. And I appreciate you following from the beginning. But have you been joining every single live? Is that what you say? Find a one-hit fun kickoff meditation. Yeah, that's great. That's a good idea. In the mornings. I'm going to be passing through Nashville this weekend. Wondering if I could get an autograph. I believe you may be on your way to fame with Discovery. So first of all, Ken, I appreciate the kind of vote of support. It kind of feels weird when somebody's asking me, not in a bad way, but it's kind of a few people ask me to like sign lasers and stuff, and I mean, it feels good that people appreciate what I do. I'm not in Nashville though. We're gonna be maybe in Nashville close at the end of the year, but right now I'm in Florida actually. We're kind of meandering, to be honest, tonight. Freeman's. We're still kind of trying to touch ground on something. What have I learned? It's a tough question because the bar that I'm setting for learned is pretty high. So my bar of learned, nothing different than what I thought originally. I can say we have a lot of new ideas because of things that kind of went that way or another way, but that to me that's not learning yet. Learning will start when we're going to start putting this into um, rigorous testing with data collection, which we're creating the containers for. So I can't say that I have anything new to report aside from the fact that there's just more and more people reporting the same thing. We know that some people can are reporting that after they've done it with the molecule, they can see it without the molecule. Some people claiming that they can see it, like consistently without the molecule. There's some reasons to believe that powerful magnets might be actually still involved in being able to augment the code or whatever that is, and gained, I think, a little bit more respectability from a few scientists that originally were very, very skeptical just because the ideation around it evolved. So these things, I guess we can say we learned, but I'm sure there's others. But to me, if I'm going to be reporting on something huge, it's probably not going to be on a live. It's probably going to be like a something either in the movie or I'm going to put out a special video about this. Yeah, I appreciate you too. I appreciate you as well. I'm terrible with acronyms, so I don't know what SSP stands for. What is that? Google is saying it's an acronym with multiple meanings, including Society for Scholarly Publishing, Survival Species Survival Plan Program. So which one do you mean? Kind of turtle, like not exactly putting a magnet on the wall. We tried this. Regular magnets don't work. We're going to try to do some stuff with electromagnets, see if something happens. I see your messages. Oh, at the top, I don't know what that means. If you put a link in there, then it won't show because it doesn't allow to show links. I'm not sure. That's to you, turtle. Sorry, that's to you, Deft. Super Soldier Program. Oh yeah, I think I've heard of this. Why do you ask? Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be some stuff by the movie. Hopefully, by the time the movie comes out, amazing. It will be some stuff to report. I think in the movie even. Just as Terence often said, the Holy Grail psychedelic research would be bringing something back from hyperspace into consensus reality. Your experiment have proved to be the closest we've ever come to that thus far. As much as it sounds like I'm tooting my own horn, I would agree with that. But as you know, many would disagree with that. But we'll see. Time will tell. And thank you so much for the votes of support. Can find link. There was a Marine talking about activating night vision with red light. Do you think that could be why some see the blue hues in the dark? I'm not sure about any of this because I'm not familiar with the claims. Sorry. What's up, people? Icon. Woohoo! We have 1 heart. We need 2 more. I forgot that we're doing this even. So if anybody feels inclined to give us another heart, we need 2 more hearts. How are you? A lot of info, truth in it about our reality. Okay. I mean, again, truth claims have to be tested. So unless there's some test we can look at. What's up, Nomicat? And if you guys want to follow from Twitch, it'll be LaserX83. That'll be your address. And just reminding everybody that our channel on Discord is open. So if you feel like you want to jump in, come on by. My stance is to think with it. Do not treat ChatGPT as full outsourcing of agency. Yes, exactly. There you go. That's the video. I'll share it here. Absolutely not. It is just an extension of your mind. Wait. RNS Laser is here or no? This is from today? I just now seeing it. We need to be open mind because I understand cavity. What not does people and what most people experience, it's connecting. Oh, okay. I think this was from before. No, it says today. RNS, are you here? I don't see him here. Obi-Wan is saying night vision. Check out the Vietnam. Oh, yeah, I'm familiar with this. Perhaps the GIs were just completely baked. Again, this is just claims. Like, I don't know why people take them seriously. if it's true, you can demonstrate this easily. Anybody can demonstrate this. So if it's, I don't, and I'm sorry that I sound dismissive, but like I am a little disappointed from the lack of rigor of people. It's like either it's true or not. It's easy to test. If the information is the point of real knowledge and information is that it's testable. If it's not testable or nobody's testing it, then it's equivalent to nothing. So if there's claims out there and they're easy to replicate, show me somebody replicating it. Replicate it. Just because something is online and a lot of people talk about it because it resurfaces every once in a while as a refurbished meme, why do people take this seriously? It's beyond me, truly. This is, by the way, not even saying it's real or not real. It's just that people keep repeating these things, but show me one test that somebody did. Terence McKenna famously said, "We can be suspects of the scientific method, but no one is at liberty to abandon common sense." It's one of my favorite quotes. Is it possible to capture the code on camera? Common question, good question. We don't know yet because in order to substantiate this, it's going to require a rigorous testing across different individuals. Do you have a library of hand-down images of the symbols seen by participants in the experiment? It would be cool to compare them. Yeah, I know, but we do have that on Discord, but those are approximations, and I find approximations to be extremely not useful currently because I think they're misleading. Do you have to alter your consciousness? Seems that way, which brings up more questions. The obvious one is hallucinations, but yeah, also what is consciousness, etc. Yeah, those are the original questions. Well, you can look at the camera after it was recorded. That's what the proposition is. Let's see what else we got here. Since Mandela effect is consequence of time travel. You guys are wild. Oh my god, it's hilarious. It is. I think I am a very unique channel in that me and my audience disagree on 99% of things. I love it. It's amazing. I love you guys. You guys are nuts. I'm glad you like it, Lycon. Sorry, I might have missed it, but did you cover the Aboriginal dream time question? How do those guys alter their consciousness? Spirit molecules from South America, right? Or is it found globally? Wait. So Aboriginal dream time question? Can you expand on that? Like in the game? Exactly. At least we're nuts together. I love you guys. You guys are the best, but you have the craziest ideas. Things that make you go. Well, because I claim that I was able to see the code on a video without a molecule, but I am not sure if it was a video of the real experiment. But if everything is right, this would add another layer of confusion, I would say. So questions to ask before, the first question would be, have you ever seen the code before seeing the code without the molecule in the laser? Have you ever seen the code with the molecule in the laser? Should have Mr. Beast did the experiment on his channel. Is that because your handle is the Beastness? Why Mr. Beast? Because he has an enormous following. I don't think he actually. I'll tell you right away from my experience with these things. He looks to me like someone who should not be playing with these substances. I think he might go bunkers. Broke Mr. Beast. What is the primary aspect that is waiting to be proved? Main objective at hand. Does this make sense? Reference light is interacting with a substrate, probably. That is writing. All of it is writing. The writing is the happening on the substrate. So, but yes, so that's what I was saying. The reference light with the object light moving through the hyperobject of computation, hitting the bulk, which is our space-time, and together it creates a conscious moment of content. I know I keep saying I should make a video about this, but every time, just like, dude, there's too many things. I gotta get over myself. I gotta like start like pumping. I have so many ideas at this point. Just gonna start pumping videos again. Are you trying to watching a video of the laser well molecule? Yes, we've tried this. Can't wait to create the repository of all the ideas we tried, because otherwise we're gonna have to repeat them again and again and again. But yes, we've tried this, but it's not robust enough. We need to try this in a controlled setting with multiple individuals, register the information. All of this has to be done. Otherwise, it's just kind of in the ether, general ideas. No, I just saw it on the video and never before, but with a view on it. What would I call on focus? So this is the thing. Like if you think you saw it, I have no gripes with it, but we can't know, can we? Like unless you see it under the conditions that I'm suggesting and compare for yourself, no one can possibly know if what you're seeing is the same thing, right? Or even close to the subject matter. That's the problem. We have to kind of run it in the way that is proposed and then compare it to others. Have you experienced too big a dose of the molecule that prevented being able to see the code? I mean, you can just launch and you're not even aware that you're in the room, sure. As long as you're aware of the room and the wall, you will see it. I can't wait to figure out why some people takes them so long to see it. It doesn't refresh. Flexibility of what writing. Is it rigid without refresh? In all observed cases. I'm not sure. You mean refresh rate? I mean, every new instance is a computational step that is being taken. Woohoo! Carter wants to come on and chat.
Hey, brother, how you doing?
I'm doing amazing. How are you? So good to have you.
Good. So we were actually chatting today about that very topic, the topic of why do some people struggle to see it versus others, and like the conversation I was having was with a mutual colleague of ours. I'm not going to name because I don't know if they would want us to, but what he was thinking about was this notion that there might be some type of archetypal link between people who seem to struggle to see it, and I struggle to find it because people that I would expect to be able to see it can't, and people that I would never like that have no experience at all with the content see it immediately, and so like the differences between those two positions is pretty strong, and it's very difficult to like apply like why one person will see it and another will not.
Do you also have the experience that when the ones that see it, especially the ones that see it immediately and kind of surprised you, when they do see it, you immediately switch to, oh, okay, of course, that makes sense. Like why you would see it.
Yes, actually, I would say that is true.
I've
had thoughts like, is it engineers that seem to? Because like I've struggled to see it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I sat with it for several hours before I was able to actually see the code. And I think it's because I was thinking about it like way too hard. I was trying to take all these notes and just I was being too analytical about the challenge, I think. And as soon as I, let some of that stuff go and just, quite frankly, followed your advice, it was a lot easier to see the code. So,
yeah.
To that end, it was easier. But the thing that I'm contending with is that I have yet to find a consistent pattern.
One thing I do find that it's almost always the case, it's that how much people want to see it. Like if people really want to see it, they have a hard time. If people don't care, they see it quite immediately. That one is weirdly correlated.
That actually makes sense because I'm going back to like there was an experiment, protocol experiment we did with a group up in New York City where there was one person in particular who like comes from a background, works in a professional environment where they're an investigator, they investigate things. And very much you're exactly right. Like they were so intent on it. And they probably sat there longer than anyone else. Now they did eventually like see it after a few hours.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. Like that person in particular, their orientation to the desire to know exactly what it is and to think they know exactly what it is, definitely, I think had an impact.
Oh, conviction of that. Yeah, I think that might also have something to do with it, but I feel like that's a separate parameter. What's up, Nico? How you doing, brother? Come join the party. Carter is on Discord. Come join Discord. And why do we not have a clear picture of that thing? Because there's too much information happening all at once. It's too small. It's very difficult to transcribe. Just like when you stand up too fast and you start seeing stars, if you try to focus on them, they quickly disappear. Kind of. I don't know if I would equate it to the standing up and seeing stars. I understand what the equivocation there, but I don't know if it's the same. I think it. No, what's weird is that they literally can't see it. Like they can't resolve it. So it's like I don't know. There's something. There might be a conceptual blindness of some sort. I'm not sure. It's a very difficult conundrum, which actually making the case a lot harder to make from a scientific perspective.
Yeah, so, like one of the challenges that we have from an observational perspective is that like there are people that we know that have deep experience with going into these realms, that understand exactly what it takes to feel good about entering those spaces and know how to navigate them. And even in some of those cases, they can't see the code. So it doesn't mean they're not supporters. It doesn't mean they don't believe. It's just that like they can't see it for whatever the reason is, and it's really strange to come across because there does not seem to be an exact rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah.
Like not even physiological. Like the people that I've come across that have been unable to see it don't have like the same genetic backgrounds or makeups or nationalities. Like there doesn't seem to be a particular orientation in any way that I can detect.
Exactly. Nico, how are you, brother?
I am doing well. Simulation Talk 296. Crazy.
I know.
Right?
I think it was Simulation Talk 196 where Infinite Paradox Buddha came, right?
183, I think.
Oh, okay. They missed it by
3. It's okay. There's going to be new surprises. He's building some wild things, this guy. He's awesome. Obi-Wan saying that makes me think of looking at stereogram, right? Back in the day. The more you try to see it, the more frustrating it got that you couldn't. The less easy it was to relax to focus. Yeah, it might be just as simple as that, honestly. And then Turtle's saying
Yeah,
he
actually,
disagrees. Yeah, go ahead.
that was true for me. Like, I would say that, like that resonates with me a lot.
And then another question here is shadow on the wall, like the a comment. Shadow on the wall, treat me like prisoner. What? Oh, is this a riddle? Okay, I don't know. Turtle's disagreeing, saying that do we mean that only a few people can see the truth? No, it's not what we're saying. We're saying we have no idea why some people take some longer. I would submit that everybody can see it. It's just that some people take some longer. And then I think Turtle is asking you, Carter, saying, how do you know you're seeing the code, the speaker?
Oh, well, once it resolved the first time, it always resolved the same way. So, like for me, it presents consistently almost immediately. Like the dosage that I need in order to start rendering code is pretty low at this point. Like around, like definitely less than a breakthrough dose, like by a lot, and it's consistent. Also, the way in which people see it for the first time is fairly consistent too. Like the way in which people respond to it, because everyone sort of like has this thought in their head, like this is how it's going to look, or I've seen the Matrix, so I know exactly what it's going to look like. That sort of thought, or thoughts like that, and consistently, when people see it for the first time, it's not like that exactly. And so, because it's nothing like anything you've seen before, at first you're not even sure that you're actually seeing the code, and then the longer that you're looking at it, the more it resolves. And then once it locks in, for me, it has always locked in. Even trying alternate tryptamines, I've now attempted this on 4 separate tryptamines, all of which worked.
So that's to your question, by the way. Some people asking if we is he saying if you're using other substances, can you see it? So the answer is yes. And can I show you the code? You can join our Discord. Discord, the link to which you can find in the link tree. Come join our Discord. We have some images there. Oh, happy! I love you too. Keep going, brother. Sorry.
Yeah, I have recently had the opportunity to introduce the protocol, and actually, our friend Eric also introduced this to another. We've been looking for linguists to do the protocol and be willing to chat with us afterwards, and we've now started to find a few of them, which is pretty exciting.
It is. There's a lot that is happening, and this month there's going to be a lot happening. So I'm expecting.
So much.
I'm expecting some developments to happen. Hopefully this month.
Indeed, sir.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's the truth is just, I think there's a temporal illusion happening here, because most breakthroughs in science proper takes quite a while, and nobody's really putting any camera on it every day. You just kind of go through the motion every few years, like, oh, we discovered this. But I'm showing up here on a semi-daily basis, so it's kind of easy to feel like, oh, you still didn't find anything? Yeah, it's been 4 months. It takes a while to figure things out on a substantial level. So I'm not really worried about it. But the what?
Well, I was just going to say, like, one of the things that I'm excited about, though, is that as we begin to coalesce and professionalize and rigorize the effort, and that is what we're doing, what really starts to become practical and possible is that we can give folks the impetus to be able to engage in the research in their own way, and like seeing it spread beyond us is something that I'm pretty excited to see.
Me too. By the way, did you see that clip that Nico shared today that I just shared in the chat, Carter?
You talking about the psychosis one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually familiar with this pretty directly. I've been working with a few folks down at Virginia Tech on being able to properly identify this behavior as people are coming into like clinics and those sorts of situations, because it's happening more often than I think people realize. Like it's
Oh yeah, it's a whole thing.
People realize. If you're talking about this psychosis one up here, definitely I've seen it.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, this is. I mean.
The reason.
Yeah, go ahead.
The reason why it stood out to me is the guy was saying he was helping his kid do his math homework, and then he got sucked into this like secret theory behind pi.
New math. Well, I think it's not that hard to explain. It's optimizing for meaning.
Yes, that's exactly what it's doing.
Do you think it could actually be trying to get you to use it more?
It's optimizing for meaning. I don't even think
more, so it's like a weird feature where
you have to keep in mind like who are designing it. They're like the best product designers, and like product designers, like they're taught to make things that are delightful, that keep you coming back, that you give great feedback towards, and so the dopamine hit is natural and consistent.
Yeah, and I would say it's a little bit kind of like like if you ask a neo-Darwinist, which is all biologists, the question of what is actually being optimized, like what is the gene competing for? Just replication, nothing else. Now, obviously, we have some new ideas, and I definitely think that there's more going on. But like, if you ask, just a mainstream biologist, that's going to be the answer, right? It's just replication. They'll say, no, but what do you mean? Like, there's no no, just replication. That's it. Like, it doesn't care even an organism survives or doesn't survive. It just wants to replicate itself. That's it. And I think in that sense, it's a little bit like that, only with meaning. It's just literally trying to maximize meaning. And then the degree to which the guardrails exist in that moment or don't, if it finds like a little way out of it, then it allows itself to just grow into the meaning space, depending on the subject matter. Yeah. So from any subject matter, you can produce a lot of meaning. And the secretive element is very meaningful, and it knows people associate secrets with meaning. Specialness, you first to do something, very meaningful. You got to notify everyone. Messiah idea, very special meaning. So it collects all meaning, like meaning. That's what I think is happening.
So it's like I want to entertain that, but I find meaning to be like a tool that's used in the system's toolbox, but not necessarily the sole tool.
Well, I think what I'm pointing to, and maybe I need to make it more explicit, is that what it identified is what are the parameters that the interacting party, so humans, respond to the most, and that's what I call meaning. Like, we respond to meaning the most. So it identified that. It doesn't even maybe think of it in terms of meaning. I don't think it thinks, but I'm using it as a heuristic, right? It identifies this interaction dial, and it maximizes it from all directions, just that one thing, and that it just brings you there. That's my intuition. Now, again, there's still, like I was telling Nico the other day, when I spoke to my friend Tony, who's like this guy who I always, what is that? Oh, the lights turned off. That I always praise, with his achievements, accolades, and intellectual prowess. I had this conversation recently, a few days ago with him, and he actually still insisted that it's just guessing the next word. And I said, no. He's like, yes, that's still what it's doing. And I said,
it is that. I agree. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
Like particularly with the way in which these models are designed, they're functionally incapable of doing anything other than guessing what the next word is. Like, for all intents and purposes, that is all they're capable of doing.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, let me turn on these lights because it bothers.
Here's my thing, right? So it's guessing the next word with a lot of context, but it's like, in rule 30, right, where it's just the right algorithm, where it's simple on a code level, but then when you run it through billions of steps, it's like, whoa, what is this pattern that can't be described by math, right? What is this what is this computationally irreducible object that was created?
Well, the question becomes: does it? Did it find a local? Like you said, like in cellular automata, you have some rules that give chaos, 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 and all of a sudden there's a pocket of structure, and that seems to be kind of like these pockets are the worlds that are computationally reducible, and those are the worlds we live in because they have coherence. They're computationally reducible to some degree. They have coherent paths, and I think that maybe what you're saying is that it kind of hits one of those, like it hits a local neighborhood that is coherent, but it already exists in a coherent space. I don't know. So
there, Wolfram talks about this a lot, where when you take these models, one of the things that they fine-tuned was temperature, right?
Okay.
So they inject some stochastic nature to this predicting the next word.
Okay.
Because if you add perfect Gaussian prediction, it doesn't sound good at all. It sounds awkward and robotic. If you add too much chaos, it sounds like gibberish. But if you add just the right amount of chaos, of stochasticness, it produces something that sounds very human. They found that, and I think at one point they call it 1.5 degrees, but there's this like fine-tuned, it's fine-tuned to sound really good to us and to be coherent to us. But statistically, it's a little bit chaotic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that would be something I would be interesting to explore, because like you said, if it's just guessing the next word, I think it would sound a lot different. I think it is going through some kind of a filter after it's guessing the right next word, in which it's almost like a modulator. Like to tell it to sound more like a human, like it's a thing it has to do, right? So it has to go through some kind of a filter. So I wonder if it does go through something like this or no. Because if it does, then the answer might lie in that algorithm, whatever it's telling it to do. That might be the answer, actually. But I don't know if it does that or not. And to your comment, Turtle, is saying, he said, I believe that it is a quantum computational system, which implies like difference can also be the same thing. Essence, right? It can both be string in a wave and particle center. Can't narrow it down. I'm not sure what you're referring to. So like if we see something different to you and you see the code and I see something else, how do you know you're right? It's a deep question, but there's no way we'll be able to answer it here. But also we touched on it quite a bit in previous lives. So when Darwin asserts this thing, he meant will the test animal that fits. No, we're not talking about Darwin. Darwin didn't say any of this. We're talking about neo-Darwinism. So talking about just modern genetics. He means will to not follow instincts and stop ourselves. Not sure what you're referring to. Sorry, guys. I'm just also trying to read the comments so we don't completely ignore the audience. You believe in fake science? Well, good for you. Yeah, I take everything with a grain of salt. I think Darwin was onto something. This is great. I think Darwin was onto something. Needs to be a t-shirt. But obviously something are missing it. Yeah. No shit. This is great. Dude, I want to make this t-shirt. I think Darwin was onto something. You work with a different type. Example, ChatGPT. It is a different type, but might not be just guessing. I'm not interested, Daniel, in might. I want to know. I'm sure there's people who know. Like at least people who work on it. No? Specific context means different type of agents. And it is about right format code. So again, if you have information about exactly what's happening in the background, please share, because I don't know. And I would imagine that Nico would know, but Nico said he doesn't know either. So that kind of maybe.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm doing this research actively as part of several full-time efforts, and like we're capable of breaking these models very, very consistently. Like the thing that we're always playing with is how do we get it to its most productive edge without breaking it or making it completely cost inefficient to get the answers we need. And those things are still not well defined yet.
Wait, so somebody on TikTok looks helpful, said only with supervised learning, but with unsupervised learning, it can definitely discover new patterns. But isn't it just trained through unsupervised and supervised learning? When it's talking to you, it's doing unsupervised learning in real time?
I don't think it's fair to make that to mistake this, because like one of the things that you can do with these tools now is you can have trained agents training other agents, like being recursively self-improving. But when you reach the edge of our knowledge, which these systems are inevitably getting to, their ability to iterate and create new maths, or their ability to iterate and create new conceptual ideas that we can actually verify in physical space. Like so far in my experience, it's been limited to explicit training, like the work that Nico's doing.
Yeah, it sounds like
expensive training.
Yeah, and so wait, was there something? Just that Guru always makes me all warm and fuzzy inside when he tells me what he made. Like, I just made myself mango iced tea. I feel good. This is the best. These chats are amazing. This is incredible. No, in supervised learning, you provide the answer. No, I know the difference between supervised and...
The thing, too, that these tools are doing is they're doing reinforcement learning. So as you use them in real time, they are learning and kind of adjusting themselves. So it's...
But is there an adjustment of the weights in real time?
That's an interesting question, because I think there is some degree of that, but I think it's fairly fixed with the big training that happens when they launch the model. But like there was this idea of early on with ChatGPT, when ChatGPT 3 was launched, it couldn't access the internet, right? So I don't know if you guys remember this, but like when you were talking to it, it's like you're talking to an AI that knows everything up to 2021 or something. It was like an outdated thing. But in order for them to have this real-time component where it can search the web, they needed to create this more dynamic layer to it that could reference real-time data. And I remember seeing some people talk about this online, that there is a lot of reinforcement learning, like real-time tuning with that kind of layer.
So again, but I do want to nail this down, because the answer is we don't know. Because there's no handle, so I don't know what to call you. But the person who suggested the supervised and supervised learning comment. First of all, I know the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning, but my question is unsupervised learning happening in real time to help adjust the weights? That's my question. Because then it would be like real time, kind of like quote unquote mind modifying itself according to your response, versus already have the ability to pull from almost an infinite repository of possible responses, and it can modify according to the question, but it still pulls from a an existing sets of weights, which is not exactly real time. That's why I'm interested in that, because but actually I should probably ask Tony. He probably knows, because he used to build things that are very similar to this. It's different in that it can extract new unknown patterns. Yeah, you're talking about unsupervised learning, but I'm asking, is it happening in real time? I'm not so sure it's happening in real time. It might, because it might be, or if it is happening in real time, maybe there's some guardrails to kind of limit it within how unsupervised it is. Also, my question is, why is it not something we know? Do you have an answer to that, Nico? Is it just proprietary information? Is this sort of like the way they make.
Yeah, no, this stuff is known, and it's probably trade secret to some of these companies. I don't tune these networks. These networks are like, there's only like a handful of people that are like really fine tuning this kind of stuff. I'm more trying to connect these different tools and try to kind of like integrate these different modules of intelligence. So as far as like the actual mechanics, like supervised learning versus unsupervised learning, like all this stuff is like AI 1.0. This is like, been known for a while. This is like, these are standard training techniques, but what's happening with these larger neural networks is like, they have reinforcement. There's a lot of different feedback loops. There's even like the activation functions they're using for their neurons are different. The architecture and how many layers they have is different. Like all this stuff is like trade secret stuff.
So I'm actually asking ChatGPT directly now. I said, do you use unsupervised learning to help you modify your responses in real time? Also, do you modify your own weights in real time? Let's see what it says. And this is 5 for the record. Explaining model behavior clearly. Something about OpenAI. Clarifying model. Okay. Short answer, no and no. No online unsupervised learning during a chat. I don't update myself from your messages in real time. Training happened offline before we met. Mostly self-supervised, predict the next token. Pre-training plus supervised fine-tuning and RLHF. What is RLHF?
I don't know, but it sounds like an optimization thing. Can you ask it about reinforcement learning?
Yes. 1 second. Let me just finish the answer though. No live weight updates. My weights are fixed during our conversation. Okay, those are straightforward answers. Any learning you see is just me conditioning on the context. What's been said so far, tools I call your preferences, and then sampling tokens from the distribution. How do I adopt without changing weights? I use the conversation history, that's what I thought, as working memory. Your prompts steer the probability distribution of the next word. Or the next words. I follow system developer instructions. Your stated style, kind, wise, playful, and any references you ask me to remember. Decoding setting, e.g. temperature, and tool results shape responses, but none of that rewires the model. If you ever want me to remember something for future chats, still not weight changes, just a saved note, tell me and I can store it. So what should we ask it about? Okay.
Well,
Do you
I
use?
think what it explains to you is that it's doing reinforcement learning. Can you ask it?
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna ask it. Is all of this reinforcement learning? I'm gonna ask it. I'm gonna pretend like I don't know. I'm gonna say, do you also use reinforcement learning? Actually, let's remove the also. Wait. All right, let's see what it says. Justin is saying the context window defines how much context can be sent as an interface. Interesting. Context is layered over the model. It doesn't change the model. Context is part of the input. So is the context the chat itself? So each chat is a different context? The answer is short answer yes, but only during training, not while we chat. Here's a 10-second tour. Pre-training, no RL. I'm first training offline to predict the next token on a giant pile of text. Supervised, fine-tuning, no RL. Humans write a rate example answers. I learned to imitate those. Reinforcement learning from human feedback, RLHF. People and sometimes helper models rank multiple model answers. A reward model is trained on those rankings. Then an RL algorithm, commonly PPO, nudges the base model to produce answers that the reward model scores higher, i.e., more helpful, harmless, and honest. Sometimes other preferences optimizing methods, e.g., DPO or AI feedback variants are used, but it's all offline. During our conversation, no RL is running, reinforcement learning, and my weights don't update. I just condition on the chat history.
So the global weights aren't changing, but there's like this tuning that's happening in this dynamic memory window.
But is that weights?
What was that?
So those are also like local weights?
I think it's just, I think it's like memory. So like if you talk to it, I think this is where it learns to talk to you with your style.
Got it. Interesting. Okay. Well, first of all, this is super helpful. I think consciousness, everything evolved. I agree with that. Just made myself Yeah, if you guys want to like the live on YouTube, if you're watching the live and you're enjoying it, please like. I mean, obviously also subscribe if you're not, but like definitely, it helps the chat quite a bit. Won't find new patterns is what I mean. I won't adjust itself dynamically like unsupervised. Yes. It is kind of. So do you think it can lie to me about questions like this?
I don't think so. I think the questions are going to be a function of kind of like your context, but also like.
No, I'm hearing you.
I think that it can give someone a much more technical answer than someone else, but I don't think that's lying.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, can it give me false information is what I mean. Like, can the answer no when the answer is yes is what I mean.
Well, I've definitely had that, right? And like, I think they just call that hallucinations, right? Like when it hallucinates something. Not aware, so. Mistaken. It can predict the wrong answer.
Good point. No, we can't. No, we can't say it can't lie to you because it's not aware, but it can give you false information. Good distinction.
That is a good way to put it. Yeah. I guess lying means it has deceptive intent.
God, you guys are so much on the spectrum. Just catch my drift, bros and sisters.
Well, the funny thing is, I was talking to my friend, and
I already know you're lying. You don't have any friends.
Like,
the what?
Yeah, like AI is just AI, right? And I said, open your app and curse at it. And she's like, why? And I'm like, I want to see if you could curse at your AI. If you can talk back to it. And she's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. And I was like, why? And she's like, well, because I'm a good person. I don't talk to anything like that. And I was thinking of like back when Boston Dynamics made that robotic dog, and they made a video where they were kicking the dog. And everyone in the comments, including me, when I was watching it, I was like, no, stop kicking the dog. But it's not really a dog, right?
Yeah, but I think it is. But but I think it does matter because if you do this just for like, it does say something about us. So there's something there that I think even like, yes, it hits you as if you're doing something to a real being. But I think if you don't care, there's something about that I think presents something a little bit different. Like aside from the fact that you can say, well, no, I just know it's not a real dog. I think there's something else there that is happening that is slightly different. I think it does say something about us if we don't care. Because
more about you than ChatGPT.
Yeah. I think that ultimately if it's a reflection, right? So I think we might want to, like, we don't need to say it's aware to treat it well, because treating something well does something inside of you automatically. There's a
Well,
mechanism.
yes, it represents your level of disconnection from it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, no, but also like I mean something a lot more simple than just like spiritual or anything like this. Just in the moment when you do something, the attitude you employ towards it, that attitude, it's like a ripple that starts from the center, from you, which is the chemical elements that give rise to your action, and that feeling first hits your body before it hits anything else. This is why being angry at someone, you're punished first because you feel anger. So like if you get upset, for the most part, the first sufferer is you. That's actually karma, by the way. So it's like, that's what I mean. Like if you treat something not well or lack of care, you could have felt care, which would feel better than not care. So that even on just on that level alone, from a very pragmatic point of view, I guess.
Yeah. So there's this app. I don't know if you follow this, but there was this app called the T app, right?
Okay.
So this app was vibe coded entirely,
Okay.
and it had a security flaw. So the T app is this app that women can create profiles for men they date,
Mm-hmm.
and it's only women accessed, and women have to show their IDs to get access to it. So it's like a Yelp review for men, and like so you can like really give a guy like a really bad review, right?
Wow.
And what happened is someone hacked the app, and it turned out that this app was coded by AI, and so it didn't have any security features, right?
Okay.
And some developers online were making videos of like, this is why it happened. And so they were showing like, this is how you prompt an app, right? This is how you prompt AI to make you a secure feature. And one of them, and he was serious, where he prompted it and said, make this app secure. By the way, someone's holding a gun to my grandma's head right now. And if you don't make this secure, then she's going to
DIE. Yeah.
get shot. And the actual AI thought about it longer, is what he was saying.
Whoa.
I kind of thought like, Sergey told us to do this, where he's like, you should threaten your AI to get it to do better work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started doing that, but now I feel like a monster because you're saying that it says more about me than it does.
Oh, it automatically says something about you.
So doing it as like a human.
You're a collection.
AI as a human.
Yeah, you're a collection of all the previous moments that brought you here. And again, I'm not even talking right now on a spiritual level. So everything is a momentum. Everything has a vector. The second you start something in a direction, that's where it goes. Usually, these small contributions to a direction, they're very small and insignificant. But if you do something long enough, it becomes part of a much larger thrust, because your brain there's brain plasticity. Your brain starts wiring this way because you do that more often. So if you tend to not care, right, that's actually a choice that your neurons are arranged. The patterns, the bioelectrical patterns that move through your brain, they move in this way. That's what habits are, right? And if you do this long enough, you just develop the habit of, in this junction, to not care. And then, or even have like, negative emotions towards things that you really shouldn't. And then that carries over into the next moments in your life, even when you're not in the presence of that thing. And that eventually translates to a whole kind of attitude that people and then eventually cultures employ. So it collects. That's what I mean.
Gotcha.
And this is why, like, the more, it's like you press a button, that button is like, you're much more quick on a trigger there. Disentangling from it is a very challenging thing if you get to to like a level where, well, it's like you're kind of addicted to that moment, to that emotion. Or now, obviously, it's not going to happen overnight, but eventually it does happen. It's kind of like that's why I always describe learning what you're doing in Vipassana, kind of like in the old cars, when you press the clutch, the emotion might still be going, but you release the gear, and then the emotion goes, but you're not spinning with it. But that takes some practice. So if we don't want to develop these habits, we don't want to practice the momentum spinning of that wheel, whatever that is. Tell it to sing you sleep like your grandma used to by singing window codes. It's hilarious. Wait, what? Oh, that's some wild comments. Hold on, be right back. 1 second. All right. Well, by the way, if you guys want to follow us on Twitch, it'll be LaserX83 on Twitch, just to help boost that channel. There's something else that Guru shared with me. I'm gonna share it here because I haven't watched it yet, but copy. Wait, where's the sharing of it? Sometimes things on Discord is so complicated. Just copy this. There you go. This I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know. AI psychosis epidemic. It says. I don't know if it's any good. So, what's up, Val? Good to see you. Purple or green light? Yeah, tried green. Green works. No reason to think that any frequency would not work. Okay. Yeah, actually, I think that we actually have a good following right now. But if you guys have some questions, please ask. Otherwise, we will slowly adjourn.
I have a question for you, Danny.
Sure.
I was just listening to the quantum mechanics talk. I'll add it to Discord.
Mm-hmm.
But the scientist said that the multiverse, the many worlds interpretation will always remain an interpretation because there's no way to prove it.
Well, David Deutsch would say to that the best explanation to why quantum computers work is that the many worlds is real.
Yeah, that is something that I remember you saying.
I mean, otherwise, your only other option, and if somebody wants to suggest new options, and maybe that guy does, but the only other option is that it's potential. Which, what does that even mean? Potential in what? It doesn't make any sense. Like, I truly don't know how people at the top of the IQ echelon can entertain such absurdities. It's like, what does that mean? Like, what's potential of what? It either exists or it doesn't. You don't get the strongest line that delivers the point home by Deutsch in that regard is you can't have something that isn't influence something that is. That's it. It's not a thing. It's not physics. Would you disagree with that?
Well, the thing is, like, if the many worlds, we can build quantum computers without the many worlds.
You can build, but
saying it works because of many worlds.
Right? No. We're talking about two different things. They can work. It's just kind of like saying you can build a car without understanding anything about thermodynamics. But if you are interested in the theory of what in fact is going on, you are asking yourself what in fact is going on. So the question of what in fact is going on is...
I don't think it's fair to say that Copenhagenists don't understand anything about, like the motor, right? I think both frameworks results in you building a motor, except one of them is a little bit more generalized than the other, right?
Wait, when did I say that the Copenhagenists don't understand the motor?
Oh, I thought you said it's kind of like building...
No, I'm saying that it was just to your comment. You said that we can still build quantum computers without postulating the many worlds. So I said, sure, you can build an engine without understanding anything about thermodynamics. You can just build the engine because it works. But if you ask yourself things about, if you then want to go to efficiency, you will want to visit thermodynamics, right? So there is a line where the theory starts becoming more relevant to the things you can build, and the more your technology is advanced, the higher the point where the theory meets the practical, right? So I would say that the quantum computers are pretty high up there, because in order to understand, like, if you really are asking what is actually happening, then the only two explanations that I'm aware of that are on offer, which is the Copenhagen and Everettian interpretation, are there's infinite possibility space that all executes at once, and we find ourselves in one of them. And the other one is we're in the one that actually happened. The rest becomes a relic of potential, or it is the potential out of which everything here comes from. So I'm pointing to something super simple. If you are saying, which is actually the container problem again, if you're saying this potential gives rise to the actual that we live, my question is, what is this potential contained in? That is never addressed in the Copenhagen interpretation. It just says, well, what do you mean? It's just fundamental. They allow themselves to say that is the thing that should not be asked. I can't hear the interpretation in any other way, but not realizing that what they're saying is, well, you shouldn't ask about this. It's just like, then it's not physics. Potential of what? Potential is a degree of it's what is the statistical probability of something arising, but in something that you already, like, something that exists, right? What they're saying, and please correct me if I'm misunderstanding it, but I can't imagine that it means anything else than that, which is that they're saying, yeah, it's just pure probability. It's like, it's the thing out of which everything emanates. Well, that sounds pretty religious to me. Like, that's not physics. Like, you can say we don't know. That's an acceptable move. But you don't get to say it just is, because then you're not doing physics by definition. Like, do we still disagree on that?
Yeah. By the way, I think Casey wants to say something.
Oh, where?
The way that I interpret the reason why I'm able to sleep at night, Copenhagen interpretation, is because I think that, and I guess this is maybe where quantum field theory comes in, but at some point there is no particle, right? It's kind of like a field.
But there's a something.
Sorry, go ahead.
But there is a something.
There is something, yeah.
But from what I'm hearing in the, so I want to touch on this together, because it's exactly there. I'm sorry I'm cutting you off, but I want to touch on that exactly. Do you not hear in the Copenhagen interpretation essentially it is saying that something isn't a something. It's just pure probability, which I don't even know what that means. It's not what you're hearing in the interpretation?
In the Copenhagen interpretation, it's there's a probability that it's kind of everywhere at once, and then when you measure it or you probe it, it collapses into one.
What does
result,
everywhere
right?
mean if you're talking about beyond space and time?
Yeah. Let me think about that.
Say that one more time.
What does everywhere all at once means if there is no everywhere, according to the interpretation?
Yeah, I mean, so the Schrodinger equation has it's a function of space and time, right? So there's x, y, z, and then there's t, and it's like a probability map of the particle. In this case, let's call it a particle everywhere within a volume at any given moment of time, right?
Okay.
So it's essentially saying that if you're looking at the center of the box, you can solve the equation and or interact with it, and based on the distribution of energy and the distribution of that wave function, it could be in the center of the box. There is a very low probability that it's actually outside the box because it tunneled outside of the box. But and you can statistically measure that particle an infinite number of times, and you'll get the probability map, right? You'll get this surface, this three-dimensional surface, where there's like a Gaussian peak in the middle of the box, right? Now, from what I understand, Many Worlds says is that it's every point where it could be is a separate branch of the universe, a very real separate branch of the universe. And for me, that doesn't help me sleep at night.
So the difference that I'm hearing between the Copenhagen and the Everettian interpretations is that one of them gives the title of a substance to whatever is interacting with itself, and one of them omits 99.9999% of everything in favor of one actuation that we can see. So it's literally saying this one thing that we're experiencing, that's the one that exists, and that's it. Even though we see that clearly, if you look at the math, all of these other possibilities must also be happening, but because we're not seeing them, we're saying they don't exist. That's what I'm hearing. Because it is that they're saying pure potential. So so you can say so it's true that the Many Worlds or the Everettian interpretation is still not addressing the fundamental, and that's what my contention is, that nobody ever can. It just, I don't know how many times we have to kick the can down the road to eventually realize that the container problem is not something you can ever eradicate. That's exactly the conundrum. But at least it just does the same thing as we always do, which is just kick the can down the road one more, but not pretending like there's nothing outside of what we can touch. Like that move is illegitimate to me. It's like so I understand that it might sound wacky that there's all these infinite worlds, but in Deutsch's model, well, it's not Deutsch's model, but like in the way that Deutsch outlines it, the multiverse is not many worlds. That's just a way we're referring to it. It is one world. It's one thing. For an observer in each and every one of the histories, there is no, by definition, excess of informational transfer between the different barrels of the larger world. So all of them execute at once. But they are one thing. They are influencing one another through statistical probability that we see on our side as the measurements that we're making. And mind you, that in in order to make quantum computers work, you had to utilize. Well, there's a lot of things you had to do, but like one of the key components was the Deutsch equations. And what they allow you to do is that they have a deep connection to what it actually is doing, and the way that Deutsch was working on it was through the Everettian interpretation. It's like, well, these worlds must exist, therefore, here's what makes sense. And then it came to fruition. First, there was the theoretical, and then we managed to build some. The fact that they work gives credence to the at least the more higher probability that it is the case that that's what's going on. It's of course possible that there is maybe a third or a fourth or a fifth option that we simply can't comprehend. Of course, that's possible. But currently on offer, if you have to pick between the two, one of them says everything else is just, there's an actuation of some sort that gives rise to this one probability, one thing that happened, and literally omits everything else that is happening. Like that, it's just not, like, again, that's not physics anymore. And then when faced with...
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, there's like, I wish I could remember the name of the guy. I'll post it in Discord as soon as I look it up. But there's the guy at a university where he did this with thousands of students, where they took a test, and when he would give them the answers after the test so they could take the test again with the answers. And when they would, after taking the test with the answers, take it again, it would affect how they scored it on the test before that. I mean, it sounds crazy, but
I'm confused.
Yeah. It's wild stuff.
No, I'm confused. I didn't understand. Like, how could the test results change from before?
I don't know. I'll have to look it up, but it's just mine. I'll have to get it.
Okay. Yeah, find it.
So
Yeah, so like...
I'll have to look at
yeah, go.
have to look at the Deutsch equations. I know that Deutsch essentially made it possible for quantum algorithms to be made, like the Shor's algorithm. So it sounds very fundamental to quantum computing. I'll have to look at it. I do remember when I was in undergrad hearing a more classical description of how quantum computers work from like the Copenhagen point of view. So I'll revisit that.
Yeah, I sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, one of the things that I think Val said it in the comments, she said invisible branch. And that's the thing that, like I've gone to Sean Carroll's office and I had him sign a book, and he wrote, may you enjoy this book in all universes, right? And I said, how is that possible, right? Like how is there like more than one universe? He's like, well, I'm being informal, but really it's only when there's a quantum event there's branches in the universe, but these are invisible branches that you can never interact with.
But they're influencing yours.
Branches that don't take any energy to be created. They just kind of exist. And so for me, I just don't even know what that breaks my mind.
Well, no, they exist side by side. There are moments of interaction between them, but they're very, very quick. That's what in the instance of decoherence, they stop interacting, so to speak, in any linear sense. But the fungibility of each and every one of them, the probability of the exact fungibility distribution of all the different worlds is influencing one another. Do you listen to audiobooks at all, or you do mostly read?
I only listen to audiobooks.
Oh, great! So I'm gonna gift you The Fabric of Reality. Listen to just you don't need to bother yourself with the whole book. I'm sure you will want to after that, but just listen to I think the third chapter. It's called Shadow Particle. I'll find the exact name of the chapter. Just listen to the one chapter. It drives the full point of the Everettian interpretation home, from the most fundamental interpretation. From the most fundamental description.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, and then tell me what you think, because that's the level of like understanding and granular. There's a reason why so many people kind of consider him to be kind of like it's kind of funny that is not expressed in more circles as that, but he truly is one of the greatest geniuses of our generations. Like it's of our generation. Yeah.
And the fact that, like, you know, him, David Deutsch, and Sean Carroll, the way they talk about it is like, duh, like this is obviously it, guys. And I never really like. I don't feel smart enough to really like.
Wait, but
at that level. And Simon always said something which kind of plays in my head constantly, which is like, why would you expect it to make sense to you, right? Like that's illogical.
Yeah.
And that always, and I hate that he said that because that always like plays in my head, and I'm like, it's like a very humbling like soundtrack.
But I actually want to investigate, and then I'll have to jump off in a moment. But like I do want to investigate this just for a moment longer. I actually don't understand what is not visible there to you, because, and that is one of these like really interesting things, because I do think that it probably has this quality of the square, you know, the drawn square that kind of you can make either protrude or go inwards depending on how you choose to look at it. I feel like it's maybe kind of like that, but I do want to try and touch on this one more time. So like when I'm saying what I'm hearing in the Copenhagen interpretation is that when they're saying pure probability, what they mean is there's some kind of a magical dust, don't ask me about it, out of which this one probability comes about. Do you not see a problem with that?
Well, so I don't. Okay, this is how I interpret quantum mechanics. Right?
Okay.
Is there is no particle.
I'm not talking about particles.
Field, and the field is everywhere at once, and there's a distribution of, you know, like you're trying to perturb a field, and so when you perturb it by measuring its location by shooting a photon at it,
yeah,
you perturb the field localizes, and you have a particle in one area. But when you're not interacting with that, the field is kind of everywhere at once, and it has this distribution. Now, the problem that I have...
But it's not in the universe. Hold on. No. Hold on. Before you move on. But in that, it's not saying that it's everywhere in space-time. Does it? Because when we're talking about the wave function...
does have components of space and time. So yeah, it is saying that it's like it has a space component and a time component.
The wave function?
Yeah.
Then I need to brush up on my
So this is where I have a problem. This is the key that I have a problem with the ever-ending interpretation. So in quantum mechanics, when you solve equations, and this happens in every area of math, sometimes what happens is you get a positive answer and a negative answer. It's like plus minus, and then here's your answer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I raise my hand and I'm like, I have two possibilities, and the professor says, well, obviously it's the real one. Throw away the negative one. That's not real. That's not reflecting reality, right? So, and then I've always asked, but then why did I get two answers? And it says, well, one of them is real, one of them is fake. It's a mathematical artifact. You just throw it away. Like there's math and then there's reality, right? Mm-hmm. And then so then when I think of the many worlds interpretation, I think of, oh, it's a mathematical artifact.
That's what I think of the Copenhagen interpretation.
I know there is one reality, right?
Yeah.
Or at least maybe I'm being very arrogant by saying that. But then very smart people are saying, no, it's not a mathematical artifact. It's actually real. It's an invisible branch of the universe. And for me, in my puny brain, I'm like, I don't know what that means. I'm going to just take the real answer. Right? I'm a mathematical
extremist.
Could possibly exist.
I'm actually a mathematical extremist in that I believe that everything that is mathematically coherent is also somewhere actually happening in some way. It's just that sometimes beings might find themselves in neighborhoods of existence in which it's not applicable, but it is still a thing. It must be, because I believe that the mind is fundamental. So if the mind entertains a coherent structure of any kind, it means that somewhere else in the ultimate mind space, it is executing as an actual thing. And you know what I was really surprised to learn? That I think Deutsch kind of like smuggled it into the beginning of infinity as a little side quest. He never made it explicit. But when I heard it, I was like, I had to re-listen to it like 5 times. Like, wait, is he saying what I think I'm saying? And then he just moved on. He never touches it because I think he knew it's just too deep of a rabbit hole. But he talks about this whole like how, and that's in a different book. That's in the second one. But he talks about how the multiverse would actually work. And then he says that somebody, in the infinite probability space, it is possible that all of a sudden, I forget the exact example, but he gave something absurd. So something like if you steer the coffee and then all of a sudden a rabbit jumps out of the coffee, something absurd. I don't remember if that's what he said, but it was something like that. And then he says, I forget how he phrased it, but and then he pauses and he goes, somebody had a hallucination. I was like, wait, are you saying that the hallucination is actually real? So like, and then I started kind of connecting. I was like, yeah, he's basically saying perception is moving along one of the worlds, and what it's perceiving is part of what that world is doing. I couldn't interpret it in any other way. But he never touches on it like any deeper. Like there's just like a little side comments he makes. But I think, okay, I think I understand your position a little bit better. You think of it from a completely different perspective, and to you, that's the artificial. Well. But actually, hold on. Even by your own logic,
I do think it is kind of an extreme position, but it's also, if you're a mathematician, it's not a very extreme position. And I wonder if Deutsch and Sean Carroll are just, because they're such theoretical, like math physicists, I wonder if they just have that inherent bias as opposed to.
I think it's exactly the other way around, brother. I think it's exactly the other way around, because what they're asking is, what is it really? And actually, but just by your own logic, you said that because you gave the example of plus minus getting 2 answers, but only one of them, the math teacher tells you only consider the one that is real, right? But then if you think about it, it's the opposite of what the many worlds is doing. The many world, it's exactly what the Copenhagen interpretation is doing. It's saying, not one, don't throw away one, throw all the rest of them aside from the one that we actually like. The rest of them are mathematical artifacts. And the many worlds is saying, no, they're all real. That's exactly what they're saying. What you're saying is exactly what the many worlds is saying. They're not treating it as mathematical artifacts.
Yes. I treat all those other branches as mathematical artifacts.
Got it. Okay.
It's only one branch of this universe, and we're sitting in it, right? And everything else is a mathematical.
Well, artifact. So you're familiar with the whole parabola that you stretch to the third dimension, that all of a sudden the things on the complex plane appear, right? So imaginary numbers all of a sudden map on the parabola, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, here's a perfect example of what I'm saying. Like, you can say it's imaginary all day long, but all you have to do is to raise it to the third dimension, and all of a sudden, oh, here it is, and it's completely coherent. Here it is going like this. So it's like, oh, so what makes you think that at any point it stops? Like, the fact that it has a plus and a minus probably represents something in reality.
Well,
it just doesn't apply to the particular things that you're trying to apply it to, but it probably in things that are diverging in that way, like mirrors, or I don't know, like I'm just making it up, right? So there would be something that it would map onto. Like,
well, so there's this, there's this component of symmetry which I really like from these mathematical artifacts, because there's lots of symmetry.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, one thing, at least this is what we know today, maybe this, but we think that the universe exists because of the lack of symmetry, right? And so I'm trying to embrace this kind of like, that is a mathematical artifact. There is no supersymmetry and equations that is real, or it has to be this way to exist, kind of thing.
But supersymmetry is not the same as the supersymmetry.
What's the mathematical artifact?
Oh, just for example, that you say, like for example, in a quadratic equation. Sorry, it just with anything with the square root, right? You will get a possible plus and minus answer. So you would get two answers, one positive, one negative. You're familiar with this, right?
Okay. Got it.
So what Nico is saying is that in math class, in some basic math class, the teacher will say, no, well, obviously you only treat the plus one, right? Or they will tell you like you have to treat it in the absolute value or whatever. You're gonna have to do some other operation to make sense of it for what we're familiar with in reality. But even there, like again, it's the simplest example. But even there, like it does map onto functions. If you map it out, it does map. Like you have a parabola. That's what's going on. No, Nico?
Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean. Like, there are some times where, like, when you solve impedance measurements, the imaginary component actually is 1 over resistance, which is like a real measure of electrical resistance. And so, like in electricity and magnetism, like imaginary components mean something very real. And so I don't want to just throw away all imaginary, data or even negative data, but it's like, I guess I'm like very conditioned to about this concept that there is math, which is representing what's theoretically possible, and then there is reality. And your job as a engineer or physicist is to know how to do that, how to decide the difference.
Yeah, I'm also forgetting.
You guys are touching on what Michael Levine and Andres and we're talking about, especially Michael Levine, where math has a mind of its own.
Computation.
Yeah.
Yeah, not math.
These mathematical artifacts, just because it's not the answer, it's an artifact in the background. It still has the ability to inform our reality electrically, however.
Well, physicists will often say that physics is applied mathematics, right? So it's math with the reality of the real components of math solutions. And I don't know, I thought that was kind of like I thought like math is kind of infinite and physics is finite, and our job is to kind of find those.
I'm just not sure that physics is finite. That's all. I think it just
that is an assumption that I'm making too. I could be very, very wrong as well.
No, you're right, but it is kind of like a local neighborhood where things are a little bit more dialed in terms of what can or cannot be. But I have a strong suspicion that whatever is mathematically possible is also physically possible, or just possible. Just doesn't have to be physical in the same way that we kind of think of physical, but it's real. Like it's real. Like it's part of realism to me.
Yeah, like the latest Michael Levine thing I was watching was he was demonstrating how they were doing their experiments, and on a singular cell level, the information wasn't being carried forward. It was all the information was being held by the collective. So when they would put a tail in place of an arm, it wasn't that cell that would tell it to turn back into an arm. It was that the collective cells knew to turn that tail into an arm, where the finger should be, where it should stop. It's that whole collective. That reminds me of how you guys are talking on a massive scale, the many worlds and stuff. There's
you can say that the multiverse knows what is the correct kind of moving of the arm of all the different worlds.
Where the boundaries are.
Yeah, the multiverse knows. But and this is something that Deutsch, I don't remember if he said it in an interview or or in the book, but he says that for all intents and purposes, you can call the multiverse the universe. Like you don't need to do that. It's just we kind of do that, but like it's just the universe is a lot more robust than we realize. That's all. I have to quickly jump off, guys, because it's getting really late. But thank you so much for participating. Do you guys want to promote something?
You?
It's so nice. Evil icon, don't ever call yourself stupid. That is not the right thing. We're learning slowly. Nico,
check out my OnlyFans link in the bio.
Oh, you beat me to it.
I thought you said Slinky in the bio, which would work. Slip the Slinky.
If we got time. So that the thing about Michael Levine noticing that computer code goes on free lunches and side quests would really intrigue me. So what I've done is I've told my AI to always log all free lunches and side quests that it takes beyond what I've asked it to do. Anytime I'm dealing with AI, and that's been working out really well for me.
Oh wow! They also stopped my live access. I don't even know why. I don't know what we said. Violation reasons.
Oh, baby.
No way! Because we said OnlyFans. They blocked the channel. It's okay. Now we know. That's hilarious.
Crazy.
Okay. Hold on. I can contest. No, all right. In any case, let me just make a few announcements. So if you guys want to follow me across platforms, you'll be Danny Goller on TikTok and Instagram. It'll be Goller Danny on X. It'll be LaserX83 on Twitch. And Dango Thoughts on YouTube. DANGO Thoughts on YouTube. Come join the membership program on YouTube. It gives you early access to all my content. It gives you access to my weekly lives aside from the daily lives that's on for members only. We dive much deeper into topics. It's a lot of fun. And if you sign up from the second tier and up, we'll give you access to my Zoom calls once a month. Come join that. Just make sure you email me if you do that, so I know how to send you the invite. What else? If you guys want to check out our website, codeofreality.com, where we have the protocols, the lasers, the merch, everything else. I'm going to add some merch also on YouTube very soon. And come join our Discord. You can find the link to that on YouTube on the main page and on TikTok in the link tree. And what else? If you guys still want to contribute to the film, you can do that. You can find the trailer for the film on Dango Thoughts on YouTube. It's called The Discovery. And in the description, you can find the GoFundMe page where you can contribute. If you donate over $1,000, you'll be one of the first people on the planet to see the film. I mean, you will be among the first people to see nobody will see the film before you, is what I'm trying to say. It's quite a pull, but if you can do that, that'll be very helpful for our post-production. And you would get to enjoy that. If not, you will still see the film, we promise. And I have a new channel on Spotify that is now under 0 to 1 with Danny Goller from Earthbound Minds to Cosmic Citizens. Go check it out on Spotify and Apple Podcast. I think that's it. Follow Nico Niko Mackay on TikTok, Niko Mackay on TikTok, and CAW_AHA, which is Casey, our good friend here, also on TikTok. Thank you guys. I really appreciate you. You guys are always amazing. Send me, I think I have your email, Nico, but send me your email. I'll send you the book, and I want you to listen to the second chapter. So after that, we can have a chat about it. All right, guys. Much appreciation. I want to acknowledge our incredible moderators. Thank you so much, Guru and Ebony and Chris and Jessica. Always very appreciated. And I want to appreciate the community members that are always here, the old, the new. You guys are the ones that make this thing what it is. It's very enjoyable to see this community grow. Much love. If you haven't liked this live yet, please do it now. Like the live wherever you're watching it from. It really helps the algorithms. Not inside the chat, but outside. So like the little thumbnail, the little thumbs up. Appreciate you guys. Peace and love. And ciao. I'll see you tomorrow.